Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're doing a how to build on the Christmas Zaneri, who I recently pulled in the King and Diane Festival banner. So she is pretty decent, mainly used in Chaos PvP, solely for the fact of her passive, which is pretty clutch. Firstly, we'll always have a look at her substats, which are pitiful. Every stat here I would consider really bad. 29% pierce rate is really bad. 34% resistance is horrendous. The crit resistance and crit defense are low. The crit chance and the crit damage are extremely low, and the lifesteal is abysmal. Onto her skills, which is more where she shines. It's the main reason why she's actually quite good. She has a stance cancel level 1, which is actually quite rare to see in humans. I believe there's only a few humans that do have this, maybe even 2. That being Yuri, who is a collab, the Tower of God collab lady, and then you've got this Zaneri as well, who has a stance removal at level 1, level 2, level 3, does not change, no buff removal added, just pure stance removal, which is decent. And can actually be good for Chaos Mode, especially if they're running like ult rush teams or anything like that. This Zaneri is actually quite good. Her second skill is a debuff removal skill, which at level 2 not only removes the debuffs, but also gives you a 20% damage reduction buff, and then at level 3 gives you a 30% damage reduction buff, which isn't really too much. Bear in mind, you know, it's a level 3, sort of expect maybe debuff immunity, or maybe just a 40% damage reduction, a little bit more of a boost, but no. Her ultimate is the normal Zaneri, which creates a barrier around all allies equal to 410% of attack and increases their HP related stats by 25%, which is pretty good. I believe the HP related stats doesn't scale with ultimate. No, it's just the shield itself that scales with ultimate. So it doesn't matter what ult level you got, you still get the 25% HP related stats, which can actually be pretty clutch, because 25% lifesteal is huge, especially in a game mode like Chaos. And once again, we'll get into her passive in a second, why it can also be quite clutch. Onto her passive, which increases the hero's basic stats by 3% for each human ally participating in battle. That's just sort of allow her to tank a little bit, and increase human allies' basic stats by 5% every time the human ally uses a skill. A human ally, so it could be any human ally, not just her. Up to 10%. So she gives her team a 10% basic stat boost. In addition, if all allies, including secondary slot hero, are humans, which is sort of like a passive like what LR Escanor has, at the start of the battle they will gain suppression damage taken effect for 1 turn. This is why she is quite broken. Is you can give yourself a 40% damage reduction, as you can see here, 40% damage reduction at the start, which in a game mode like Chaos can be the deciding factor whether you win or lose. Also with this, if we go over to the Relic, which is also quite handy because she's got a cleansing skill here, increase basic stats of human allies by 2% up to 20% for each debuff removed from allies with the hero's skill use. So it can be Green Zaneri's cleansing skill, so the recovery version, or this Blue Zaneri's buff remove debuff skill. They both count. And then when debuffs are removed from an ally, they are healed 5% of their max HP for each one that is removed. So let's say you've got 5 debuffs on you, you're healing 25% of your max health. You got 1 debuff on you, it's 5%, so on and so forth. It's pretty decent. And especially in a game mode like Chaos, where, you know, characters like Shadow can really, they can actually be quite broken, because, you know, DOT is quite strong. What other characters are broken that have debuffs? I can't really think of any. A Merlin? Maybe Ocean Merlin, she's debuff based. OG Hell is debuff based, she's also pretty irritating to deal with. But gear wise, she wants HP defense. She's solely a support character, and if you're only going to be using her in Chaos mode, just box CC gear. Mine's currently holding box CC gear, which is just HP defense SSR gear, which has now just become my standard box CC gear because I reached the point in my account where the only way I can really gain or push box CC is by making SSR HP defense sets, because Rare doesn't really. I've already made everyone Rare HP defense sets, so it's kind of useless. But when it comes to her outfits, so once again, we've only got green and blue Zaneri, so we've only got 4 outfits. We've not getting any for free. We've only got 2 weapons. We've only got 4 headgears, and I have upgraded her Relic to Bird because I use her in Belmouth, so it just upgrades the green one's Relic as well, which is pretty handy. Just additional CC. She doesn't really do anything there, but it's just some additional CC. I will upgrade her. Would I even recommend upgrading it to Deer? No, unless you're at that point in your box where there's nothing else you can do. You know, you've got a bunch of, let's just say you don't really want to trick all your characters, which is a really good way of getting GP points, but it's super expensive. And you get to a point where you sort of upgrade everyone's Relic to Bird. Yes, you could technically farm Deer to, like, upgrade everyone's Relic to Deer, which is possible. and is a pain, but it is doable, especially if you have the account to do so, and if you are at that point, your account is probably a lot higher than mine, which is hard, but it's definitely doable. There are people with 21 million bucks, you see, for goodness sake. It's insane. But anyway, that's it. Just thought I'd make a video going over her because I recently pulled her, and I thought I'd give a small guide on how I'd recommend you build her. Of course, you want to build her for box CC, unless you unless you plan to actually use her. If you plan to use her, give her HP defense gear. If you plan to only use her for Chaos mode, give her a box CC set just so she can sort of just sit there and just be box CC for your account. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.